All right. Welcome back yet again to another edition of Have You Seen? This is the 30th episode of 2023. Not bad, I don't think, for a year where movies have kind of been up and down. It's been a weird year for movies, I think. I don't think I've given anything, well, on my grading sheet, I haven't gotten to putting anything in as a 5 of 5, like locked in yet. I know we had a couple that we talked about as potential 5 to 5s, but I haven't I usually delay when I actually put them in my sheet. So none of the 5 of 5s have hit my sheet yet, but we're back. This is an indie movie. I'm here with Tyler, as it has become pretty regular at this point in time. Tyler, how you feeling? It's been a little while.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I'm just glad we're back for spooky season. You know, I'm here for it.
Long overdue. So today we're doing something a little different. Tyler suggested doing a draft for horror movies, and we decided to do horror movies since 2010, and we're also going to include horror thriller series as well. So it should be interesting. I have some idea of some of the movies that Tyler's going to pick, but you know, this might get really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how we go about it, because I have done a couple of these with different categories in the past, and I'm really bad about like I've done it with albums or music and stuff, and I'm bad about just doing what I want to do rather than having strategy and thinking well, I can wait on this, or so I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm curious. I know a couple that you might steal from me, but we'll see how the draft plays out as far as what you prioritize. So before we get into that, we do have an indie movie. It's called Pandemonium. It is a French movie, horror thriller, interesting movie. We're gonna get straight into it. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on the setup. So Pandemonium, starring Arben, and apologies in advance if I destroy this name. Bajraktaraj. That's as good as it's probably gonna get. Hugo, Dillon, also Ophelia, Kolb, Laforet, and Manon, Maindivide. Directed and written by Quarxx. I'm going to read the synopsis and we'll get straight into our thoughts. So again, this is a French movie. After realizing he has died at the scene of a car crash, Nathan descends into the depths of hell, where he is doomed to experience the pain of tortured souls along the way. And where I want to do this as a non-spoiler, we could kind of start and try to see if we can do it as a non-spoiler, but we probably have to get into some spoilers to really talk about this. First of all, I'm not going to ask you about expectations, but what was your experience here with this movie?
That's a good question. I always like when we get to do some of these indie movies, because you don't know what to expect. And I also like that we get a good bit of foreign stuff. For whatever reason, I like watching foreign, especially horror. I think you and I have gotten really lucky this year on some of the indie movies we've done, beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
And we jumped right into that. So I did enjoy that of it.
Yeah, I think for me, again, like you said, not knowing what to expect, knowing this is a foreign film, which usually means that you're going to get a different style than we're used to in American films, as far as the way people act, the way the scene is set. We don't get some big musical introduction type of thing and just jump straight into it. And I enjoyed in the beginning the way things unfolded, where you meet this guy, he's getting up off the road, and it slowly builds upon itself. A scene happens and then a new thing is introduced, and then the characters work their way through what this new piece is. I was having fun, and based on the text message you sent me, it looked like you were having fun for a while too.
Yeah, I texted you probably not 20 minutes into it, and I was like, dude, I'm so glad we're doing this. This rules.
Yeah, so I would say I didn't check the timestamp, but 30 to 45 minutes in, I was locked in. I was very excited about where this movie was going, and I felt like it laid a foundation for something that was potentially going to be pretty great. And then something else happened. I'll let you detail how you felt about the shift first.
I will say this, which it's funny I'm saying. So I recently, for the first time in my life, got to watch the movie Mungo, not that long ago, which is from 2007, I think. And it's very much considered by horror nerds to be one of the best. It's got a cult following and everything. And I'd say that was the first movie in a long time that I remember making me feel that strongly or that deeply. Okay. This one did too, man. There were times where I was pretty bummed out. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but there were times I was like, damn, I'm pretty bummed out right now.
Yeah, this movie definitely has a lot of depressing stuff in it. and like very dark and sad. And it does have some stuff in it that could make you think,
I was
about
having existential crises over here, man. I really was.
it could definitely put you in your head a little bit if you
I'm
really.
not even super religious or spiritual, but I was like, damn, dude. I was having an existential moment for a second.
Now, did this happen before or after the shift in the tone? Like before, after we have our
Oh,
first two main characters who are dealing with the situation at hand. I don't want to. I'm really trying to avoid the spoilers, but dealing with a situation where I mean, it says it in the trailer. The guy has died at a car crash scene, and he's coming to grips. First, he doesn't realize he's died, and then he has to come to accept I've died and I'm here. And then he's presented with some options, and things start to come out. But then it shifts to something else after a decision is made. So did you start to feel it before or after that decision?
no, it wasn't until pretty deep. I will say it's almost like a cold open. I don't know if you noticed that, but like we were like 30 minutes in, and then I'm pretty sure maybe I misremember. I halfway think we got a title scene, but whether we did or not, in that opening act or whatever, I like that they didn't try, which I hadn't read the synopsis or anything. This was a rare time where I went into it blind, but I like how they didn't try to hide the fact. Like the first thing I wrote down was, are they actually dead? Like they weren't trying to hide that from us necessarily. Right. I liked that. And I really I would have watched an hour and a half of that opening scene. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was beautifully, I mean, I don't know where that's set, I guess. In the French mountains, maybe. I really don't know, but like the snow, it was beautiful. I was locked in on that. It wasn't until later in the movie where I was like, oh God, this is a lot.
So I can definitely say the scenery was great. And like you said, I was fully prepared I was like, wow, they really shoot like the whole movie right here on the side of this cliff. And I was thoroughly enjoying it. There's a scene, so like halfway through this opening scene on the side of the cliff where you have the two men who have died at this crash scene, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Like, how do we, like, is this really the afterlife? Like, they're doing, going through all the whole process of, well, I don't feel like I'm dead. Like, I'm still having thoughts, I'm still having feelings, etc. and so forth. And then like a real world person is introduced into the mix, and you see how this person interacts. And so in my head, I'm like, all right, so this is what this movie is going to be like. They're going to continue to have these conversations that are like really deep about death and life and the decisions that they made along the way. And then every now and then, like another human is going to come into the scene, and how they interact is going to say something about society or something like that. Like that's what I thought the movie was about to be. But then, like we said, they go into another phase where our two main characters disappear for a large portion of the movie. And I think that personally is where it kind of lost me a little bit. I think if we had those long stretches of like these additional stories that are being told, but we like see the main guy in the background or something like that, like we know that we could see him watching this some way or shape or form, then I think maybe I would have been locked in a little bit more. But because I was confused and then it went on longer than I expected, it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, it almost becomes like this anthology movie out of nowhere. And that's not spoiler territory because, like you said in the synopsis, it says he's gone to hell and now he's having to experience all these other, tortured souls or whatever, however they worded it. And that's exactly what it is. And again, maybe like I'm not smart enough for this, but I kept thinking like it's not like he learns anything out of this. It's not like he watches this person's story and then has a moment of realization and then he goes to the next person's story. I guess the message is that's what hell is. You're just stuck in this for eternity of suffering. I don't know, but I very much kept thinking like, am I supposed to be learning something? Is he supposed to be learning something? Or is it just what is it?
Yeah, it felt like, to me, it felt like the director had an idea of what these tortured souls were going to be. He was like, let me just throw in like these stories that I've thought of in the middle of this movie of like, all right, here's the scenario and like watch this scenario play out. Like it felt like multiple short stories thrust into one. Like even the beginning, like you said, the first act, it could be a short film of some sort. And then the ones that we get in the middle could additionally be individual short films. And we're supposed to just accept that these short films are the journey this man is taking or the stories that he's having to endure while he's transitioning to hell, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen the VHS franchise. It's a great horror kind of anthology series, but it almost felt reminiscent of that, which is just these short segments of that end up being a bigger picture. I will say for each of those different stories we got, and that might very well be the point, but like I never once found myself, well, maybe once, but for the most part, it's not like, oh, this person deserves to be in hell. Like it's very like there were each sad stories that every
Right.
person was going through, and yeah, it was pretty taxing, like emotionally. It was like, damn, this is a lot.
Yeah, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it just went on for so long that it got very heavy. Like, it wasn't just like a quick hit. Like, look at this story, bang, back to the next thing. It was like, look at this story. No, look at this story. Like, and like
Mm-hmm.
hold you in there like a dog when you're holding their nose in the pee in the carpet. Like, that's what it felt like. And I don't know. Maybe he is trying to send a message to the listener, viewer, like, this is humanity. This is what you have to look forward to. And then he hit you with the bombshell at the end, which I won't reveal. But like again, like you said, it can give you that existential, like, really, is this what it could this be a possibility? Is this potentially what I have to look forward to? But then, even then, as I'm trying to accept that this might be the message that's being received, then you get that one scene at the end with the big, the big guy, and then he does something that I personally did not expect to go the way it did, and I was like, okay, now we're just doing too much. Like, it felt like a director writer who did not get edited enough at that point.
That's a pretty accurate way of describing that. I think the one more positive note I will touch on is I can't think of a ton of instances off the top of my head, but like throughout movies and television, we've seen different depictions of hell. I thought this was a an interesting. It felt fresh. It felt different a little bit, and I kind of it was very bleak, but I mean, to say I liked it is probably not the right way to word it, but I liked what he was going for.
I can definitely get on board with that. I think, like you said, it was a unique depiction of hell. Um, Almost worse than what we usually think
Yeah,
about.
for sure. It felt much more realistic or something.
Right,
Like,
right.
it's not just these fiery pits of like it's just this very dark, bleak hellscape. I don't know.
Not this cartoonish, fire and people screaming just in the fire. Like, no, it looked like a place I would not want to be.
Yeah.
And not in
And
a cartoonish type of sense, like in a ugh, like, please, like, I don't want to look at this
yeah,
type.
so much of this movie was like what's the I had a way to word it a second ago. I've kind of lost it, but it was just very matter of fact. It was like
Yeah.
you can think whatever you want. You can have all these opinions, but like this is it. This is the situation you are in, and do what you got to do to accept it. But this is what it is.
And that's pretty much, I would say, if you were to like label the movie one way, is like very straight to the point, like very matter of fact. Even the, like, again, with the conversations in the beginning. And I'll say this additionally, don't know if this is good or bad, but I would say each of the sections of the movie by itself, had they been their own movies, I would be interested in them. I think my problem, if I'm giving the movie a grade as a whole, my problem is that it didn't really flow like I maybe would have wanted it to. But again, I definitely strongly felt great about the beginning. The stuff in the middle, it wasn't bad. It just threw me off the transition from one to the next. It was good. Like, I was entertained. I was trying to see where this was going. And then even the stuff at the end, where by itself I can look at it and say, yeah, this is dark, this is bleak. I could go for a ride in this hellscape situation, but the way it all comes together didn't land for me, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I said earlier, I'd have watched 90 minutes of just that the first act, and then even some of the middle parts. Like again, without getting into spoiler territories, there's a story about a little girl. I would have watched. It felt like that could have been a full movie in itself. And again, like you're saying, it's fine if we are breaking it into segments like that. I just wish there would have been more of like a message or like something I learned along the way, and I just never felt like that. But it also doesn't feel like just an anthology thing. I don't just felt a little clunky maybe. And it
Yeah,
very well could be I just don't understand it. I don't know.
that could 100% be the case. I think for me, and I don't want to feel like I'm the type of viewer that needs my hand held through something, but I just didn't see where, like you said, it goes from the setup to here's the message at the end, or the setup to this is the ride that we're all going on with this guy. It just felt like it just became about these stories individually and not something collective. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't.
think one of the things you and I complain about the most with mainstream horror is like sometimes it does feel like you're holding our hand entirely too much, and I don't like that, or we'll applaud something for not doing that.
Right.
So I like that you mentioned that. Again, maybe I did need my hand held through this one. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I hate feeling like I'm telling the writer director like you didn't guide me enough on what you were trying to accomplish here. But at the same time, I felt like I wasn't guided. Like I said, if they had put it to where in these stories, maybe the guy comes in and out, or like we go into it and we like see him like suffering because he's like watching this story, or like he's trying to talk to the, like you said, the one with the girl, like if he's trying to talk to the girl, like don't do that or do this, whatever the case may be, maybe that brings it home for me a little bit better. But overall, I didn't hate the entirety of the movie. There are definitely things I liked, especially the beginning 30 or 40 minutes. But overall, I'm having a hard time like really deciding how I really felt about it, honestly.
Yeah, a couple more positives. I will say I liked both the writing as far as like dialogue and the acting a lot. I thought they killed it on all fronts there.
Acting was great. Like I said, I think that actually might be my biggest problem with it, is that I love the two guys at the beginning, and then
Yep.
they're just gone for a lot of the movie. So, um, man, I think this had a lot of potential. I almost feel like if I was the producer or something, I'd be like, hey, forget all this stuff right here. Like, let's focus on this part and like draw it out. But again, that's one of the things with independent movies, is that you don't have a studio telling you do this or do that. And when you're making stuff for yourself, and I can speak to this personally, you have a lot of ideas and you want to put a lot of stuff into a movie, where this probably could have been three separate movies.
Yeah. Yes, it's a gift and a curse. I mean, I like that freedom. I wish more, especially with bigger projects. I wish more writers and directors got that freedom. But again, sometimes with that freedom, you can get a little carried away or a little out of control, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's jump ahead to, would you recommend this?
That's my biggest problem with this. And I've been sitting here thinking on how to word this entire time. I do think there are people that it's very recommendable to. I think if you're very, not even horror nerdy, just very, if you're someone who watches a lot of indie movies or a lot of foreign films, this would be, I mean, I think there are people out there that very much would enjoy it, but to like a more broad audience, we've had a number of indie foreign films where we're like, yeah, I think more people would enjoy this if they got the chance to see it.
Right.
I don't know how many people in my life I'd have recommended this to. Like you and I, if you and I don't, me and you are the first two people I would think like, hey, maybe we would enjoy that. And even you and I are like, I don't know who else I can recommend this to, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think I have one person that I know is into like really weird movies. And so when it comes to something like this, I'm like, would I recommend this to him? It's my guy Mike, who I've done. Has he been on here? I don't know if he's been on here, but we've been on each other's podcasts before. Like he liked, what was the movie with? I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on it. It was a movie where the actress was like, her character was like eating screws and glass and stuff like that. I can't remember. I think it was called Swallow, actually. One of the main like actresses out. Now I gotta find it. Who was in it? Wait, that's not who I thought it was. Haley Bennett actually is the main actress in it. Why did I think it was somebody else? She looks like
Who does she? She look. Oh well, she almost looks like Jennifer Lawrence. If we're being
that's
honest.
what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking it was Jennifer Lawrence. Not Jennifer Lawrence. Is it Jennifer Lawrence? Maybe it is Jennifer Lawrence. But I was thinking.
Well, she almost looks like Florence Pugh, maybe.
Florence Pugh. I think it's not. It's a Jennifer Lawrence.
Each picture I see of her, she looks a little different.
It's Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, she looks like Jennifer Lawrence. So I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence when he recommended it to me, but he liked that movie. I was really weirded out by it personally. But again, it's not a movie I would recommend to the general populace. But again, if you're into weird stuff, if you're down to go for a ride, something kind of that's gonna make you think a little bit, I can't say not to watch it. It's only an hour and a half, so it's an easy watch if you just want to throw something on. But you got to pay attention since it is French, and I'm assuming most of the people listening to this are not French speakers.
Yeah, and that is actually maybe my favorite thing about foreign films is like, even with as nerdy as I am, the older I get for whatever reason, I have a hard time staying really locked in. And when it is a foreign film, you do have to stay locked in. And like I usually retain way more of it, but again, I don't know how accessible it is. And like that's kind of what this podcast is, right? Well, when we're doing these types of movies, it's like, hey, here's a movie we had access to that maybe not everyone does yet. Should you go watch it? And like, I don't know that most of your listeners would be interested in. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, and that's where I land on it. Like I personally cannot tell people to go like dig for this on their wherever it comes out. I think it's on video on demand. Actually, it came out last week. Let me pull it up real quick. I think it premiered last week. Actually, I'm not sure if it's on streaming yet. I'm gonna find it in just a second. Pandemonium. Nope, it is not on streaming yet. It premiered a week ago. So that's where I'm at with it. Should we do these grades?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First criteria: did they accomplish what they set out to do?
I don't know. I don't know what we were setting out to do. A 2, maybe. I guess I don't know.
All right, so you're going 2. I'm going 1 because, like you said, I don't know what the goal was personally. All right. I gotta pull up the thing. All right. I thought I was going to remember it off the dome, but I am not remembering it off the dome. All right. Overall entertainment value or recommendability. I think we kind of just went over this.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm going 0.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say 1, but yeah.
You're being nice.
Because it's not that it wasn't entertaining.
Yeah.
Because I was engaged. I don't know. 1.
I was myself. The recommendability part is where it kills me. Like, I can't recommend it to somebody else. Emotional connection to the story or character.
That's also very tough because, like you're saying, we loved the opening act and we felt fairly connected to them, and we missed them when they weren't there. And as far as emotional attachment goes, like I said, I was having like an existential crisis at one point.
Yeah.
So I was emotionally invested. There was just so much going on and so many different stories popping in and out. I think I was so invested and it made me feel strongly enough that I have to go with it like a 2.5 or a 3. I'll say 3, but it's tough to, I think I'm being kind of generous there, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going 2 personally. Like you said, I was definitely interested in the first 2 characters. When they introduced a 3rd character, I got interested in that one for the brief moment they were there. And then even in the middle story, when the first story we get, I was very curious where that was going for a while. So I can't completely kill it, but I got to give it a 2 on that in particular. X Factor, great acting or something completely fresh that's worth giving it points for.
That I do think I can go feel good about a 3 with, because again, I thought the acting was really good, and I've already mentioned how like their depiction of hell I thought was pretty unique and everything. So I can go with a 3 and not feel like I'm overreaching.
You know what? I was gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 3 as well on that one. Because it was, like you said, interesting and fresh in a lot of ways. All right. Did it keep you on your toes or keep you guessing in a good way?
Not in a great way.
Again, I'll start with this one if you want to take some time. For me personally, again, the first like third of the movie or so, riveted. I would have given that movie a 5 if we had stayed in that pocket. Once we shift, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. So I'm gonna go 2.
I also had talked myself into it too.
All right. That's rough. So you came out with a 5, 8, 10, 11.
It's not bad.
Yeah, 11 out of 25. And I come out with a 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 out of 25.
Or 19 out of 50.
19 out of 50. Or a little bit less than a 40. So 38 grade. Again, 38 out of 100. That's probably the number of minutes that the movie had me locked in for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty accurate.
And that's kind of where we're at. Again, when they send these movies over, they're not asking for great coverage. They're asking for coverage. So that's what I got. Again, we didn't completely trash it. There was no point where I was like, I really want to cut this off. I definitely did check how much time was left at one point because I was curious how they want to tie things up. But 19 out of 50, it could have been worse.
Yeah, that's right where I'm at with it as well.
The beginning of the movie kind of is holding it down. All right. Should we do one scene that stuck with you or one scene that you feel like talking about specifically?
Yeah, can I get into? I mean, it's gonna be spoilery, but
Let's do a spoiler alert and check the show notes. Fast forward to the draft if you don't want to hear any spoilers for this one.
so there's a scene during the when we're seeing different people's stories part with the little girl specifically. Okay. And I guess she's already killed her parents, and now she has an even younger sister who's asking, what happened. And she's like, well, they're dead. And she asks, well, am I going to die next? And she says, yes. And this little girl, I literally put crying emojis in my notes. This little girl asked if she could finish her drawing first. And I was like, oh my God, this is heartbreaking. And she says, no. And then I won't even say what she does next, but that unfortunately is going to stick with me for a minute.
Yeah, I had forgotten about it. I think I blocked it out trauma wise, but yeah, you just mentioning that made me remember it, and whew, that was a lot. I think because of how they introduced the first part of what you said, I didn't expect them to actually show what they showed, and yeah, that was definitely something. For me, I'm gonna go with a more comedic moment in the beginning when the two guys are on the road. And again, we see the car coming up. And again, this is before we know what kind of movie we're dealing with, really. The car comes up. The guy tries to talk to him, which obviously we're confirming now that he is a ghost. Like, he can't be seen. The guy comes up to the body and immediately just checks his pockets to see if he can steal anything, and then skedaddles up out of there. Doesn't care, doesn't call anybody. And that's that. It's like a state. And again, I think this is supposed to set us up for the idea that humanity is a flawed was a species, I guess. And nobody's good at the end of the day.
There's one more scene I want to point out when they realize we do unfortunately have to enter the gates of hell on our own accord. The one guy says, man, that sucks. I would much rather it just be forced upon me. So our main character, Nathan, says, bet, and just throws it in.
Well, it was funny. The only reason I didn't think it was a bad scene is because the other dude just tossed the little girl to heaven. So
true. And I mean, I think he thinks he's doing the right thing. He's like, oh, he can't make this decision on himself. I'm going to help him, which we've already heard.
Yeah.
He may or may not be making decisions on other people's behalf this whole time. So.
This is just a pattern for him. This is what he does.
I know what you want. Here you go. Gotcha.
That was that. I was going to go with that route actually originally, but I was like, I'll go with the car seat. So I'm glad you brought that one up. We're here, and I already told people to skip ahead if they don't want any more spoilers. Any other scenes you want to talk about?
Not really. That's all I got.
Dude, at the end, when Big Dude smashes his head into the wall, I was definitely I was like, is his head gonna regenerate or what? And then it didn't. But I do believe he was supposed to be reborn into the baby or something like that.
Yeah, and we got a whole breastfeeding scene. That was even that I've seen. I watch a lot of horror. I watch a lot of weird stuff, and even I was like, what are we? This is a lot. That was the most accurate or detailed breastfeeding thing I've ever seen in my life. What was that?
There was a lot going on at the end, and again, I just when I see that in a movie, when I see a movie take 5-6 different decisions, 5 different endings happening, it's yeah, nobody edited this basically. Nobody said you need to pick one and stick with it, bro. Relax. So that's where that is. Let's move to this draft after this break. Hello, have you seen listeners? If you are a movie fan, which I would imagine you are if you're listening to this podcast, and your local theater is a Cinemark, let me tell you about Cinemark Rewards. Cinemark has 2 different levels of Cinemark Rewards. The first being the Cinemark Movie Fan, which is a free level. You sign up for Cinemark Movie Fan, you'll earn 1 point for every dollar you spend at the Cinemark theaters. You can redeem those points for tickets and other rewards. You'll receive member access to screenings and advanced tickets. You'll get an extra discount on Tuesday and other exclusive member offers. Now, if you're a bigger movie fan and you're willing to put some cash up, the Cinemark Movie Club is $9.99 per month. You'll get all of the above. Plus, you'll get 1 free ticket every month. Again, If you're going to the movies at least once a month, this is already paying for itself. One free ticket every month, 20% off all concessions, and if you upgrade to platinum, it'll be 25%. You get to platinum status by attending movies, by the way, but that's neither here nor there right now. You're just signing up. You won't be eligible right away, but eventually you could get up to platinum status and get 25% off. You also have online fees waived, and that doesn't just apply to tickets. You can order your concessions online as well and pick them up once you go to the theater. Any unused ticket credits roll over to the next month. That means if you don't use your one ticket that month, it rolls over to the next month, so on and so forth. So if you're worried, what if I miss a month, then it's not paying for itself, Mike? Well, if you miss a month, it rolls over. You can watch 2 the next month if you like. Now, you'll also get member pricing for additional tickets you buy, and that is important. For more information, you can hit the link in the show notes. That'll give you the more details, and you can sign up today. Finally, if you're here, you also probably like television, and you may be looking at different options for cutting the cord, and one of those options is Philo. Philo offers 70 plus top rated television channels, including MTV, BET, AMC, A&E, Discovery, VH1, Food Network, Nickelodeon, OWN, History, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark, Paramount, TV One, and more. All for just $25 per month. Philo also offers premium add-on channels, including MGM Plus and Stars. Philo has live TV, unlimited DVR. That's right, not all these places have it, but Philo has unlimited DVR on demand, and content from top programmers are available on your web browsers. iOS, iPad, Fire TV, Roku, and Chromecast functionality on Android mobile devices. This is excluding first-generation Chromecast devices. And Philo's on-demand library features 75,000 movies, shows, and specials. Philo offers a 7-day free trial for new users, so you can sign up today, again, at the link in the show notes, or at the link on the bibscorner.com website on the Support Your Show tab. You can click the link in the show notes. There are 2, actually. The first one gets you straight to signing up if you don't have any further questions, if I've broken it down for you well enough. The second one will take you to a page that does have more details if you want to read a little bit more. All right, let's get back to the content. All right, first of its kind. Hopefully we can come up with some more stuff in the future to do stuff like this again, but I'm very curious of where this is going. So we're doing a horror movie draft, and horror is based on our own definition, just so you know. We're going to do 12 total. I believe we said we each would do at least 3 shows as well. 2010 to present, which eliminated a movie I wanted to include on this list so bad. I was trying to get Orphan in here.
I love Orphan,
and it was a 2009 movie, so I couldn't include it.
My probably favorite movie of all time also misses it by a year. 2009. It was Ty West's The House of the Devil. It's probably my favorite movie ever made, and I would have loved to. I would have, even though I don't know if that's one you've seen, I would have picked it first just to go ahead and grab it, and that's how much I love it. But unfortunately, just barely missed the cutoff.
All right. So with that said, we're going to get started. And since you came up with this exercise, I'm going to let you get first pick.
Okay. This is an important distinction. So you said we're going to each have at least 3 shows / series.
Correct.
Are we just in any order? We're not saving those for the end or? No. Okay. Just picking at any point?
At any point, you can throw your show in there. If you think your show is better than any of the movies out there, pick it first.
Then I'm going to do what feels like cheating, but I think this is the best horror series that's ever been made. I think it's the best horror series that ever will be made. Mike Flanagan very much has become one of, if not kind of the horror guy of this generation. I got to go The Haunting of Hill House. I think it is perfect. I think the more and more I rewatch it, it gets better and better. It literally is one of those, I've seen that show probably 4 or 5 times all the way through, and I still, every single time I watch it, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't notice this thing in the background, or oh, I didn't realize the significance of, like, it just somehow keeps getting better and better.
So we're just gonna start off the draft with you taking one of my picks. All right. The Haunting of Hill House, definitely. I can't say you're wrong. I was thinking I was gonna slide that in there. I thought you were gonna start with the movies. I was like, bam, Haunting of Hill House, got you. But you got me. So we're off to a strong start already. I personally love that show. I was just actually watching his more recent release, and it reminded me of how great The Haunting of Hill House was. Strong pick. So it's my pick now. What year was that Haunting of Hill House?
Let me tell you. 2018.
18, and Netflix. I'm gonna try to make sure we tell people where they can watch this stuff. So
yeah, usually I'm very good about thinking to do that, and I'm slacking. So let me try to get with it.
All right. So my first pick, I don't think this should surprise anybody. I have a gigantic poster on my wall. First pick is going to be Get Out. Jordan Peele, probably my favorite movie of all time right now. If I had to pick, Jordan Peele really did his thing. The writing is great. The acting is great. You can watch this one on Netflix right now also, and it's a 2017 entry. I'm going to try to keep track of the years for these to see if there was like a pocket of like fire horror entries. So Get Out, 2017, and you can watch it on Netflix. I've talked about this movie enough to feel like I don't need to explain to everybody why I loved it, but I did watch this movie in theaters 3 times.
Yeah, I only saw it twice in theaters, but I mean, I genuinely think it's one of, if not the best and maybe most important, not important, but influential movie of, I mean, however many years back you want to go. It's that good. It sounds like hyperbole, but like we might not ever see a movie that good again, honestly.
Yeah. No, I personally, like, I almost feel sorry when a director's best movie is their first movie, but to be honest, if that's your first movie, you're never going to hit that. And if you do, then we really got something special coming. So
yeah, his 2 other entries have been almost flawless, and people act like they're nowhere near, it's right. Tough. But for my second pick, I don't know if this is a movie you would have ever picked or not. But again, I'm going to start going. I did my strategy already. I've used my one strategic move was to get Hill House real quick. So start going my heart a little bit more. I think this era that we're talking about is defined by a handful of things. Okay. The A24, high elevated, part of it becomes a pretty big deal. And this was a movie. Also, there's the big 3 of directors, and I'm going to go ahead and you've chosen one of them in Jordan Peele. I'm going to go Robert Eggers' The Witch. I think The Witch from 2015. I know it was on Netflix for a long time. It also introduced us to Anya Taylor-Joy, who's kind of become a scream queen. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I'm going to take The Witch.
All right. Did you say it's still on Netflix, or it was on Netflix in the past?
It was for a long time. Let me double check that for you.
I got it as Max right now.
Okay, and Hulu if you have a premium subscription, Amazon Prime. Yeah, so no Netflix.
All right. Not a bad one, and that's actually one I haven't seen. I need to watch, so it's at the top of my list just so I can get on the Robert Eggers train. Yeah, I'm not going strategic with this one, but my next pick either. This is another one that probably won't surprise anybody, and it gets us really out of the horror genre. It's more of a thriller. I'm going with Nightcrawler. Jake Gyllenhaal should have gotten nominated for the Oscar. Still disappoints me to this day. Just a really riveting movie that, like, I liked it so much that I watched the documentary about the people that consulted on the movie called what was it called? Oh my gosh, I'm whatever. There's a documentary about the guys like that do what his character is doing in the movie, like in real life. They consulted on the movie, but Nightcrawler for sure, one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's the Jake Gyllenhaal performance that carries it. Really, the story's
cool. Nightcrawler rules. That's one I've seen probably 3 or 4 times. I love that movie. And Jake Gyllenhaal, I mean, he's got a handful of those roles like Zodiac and Nightcrawler, and like he just thrives in those. Nightcrawler is phenomenal. Love that movie.
Last Pieces. It's a 2014 movie, and it is on Max as well.
I might go rewatch it tonight, if we're being honest. The movie rules. Again, so it's me. There's two directions I could go here that I'm like really set on. I'm not sure which one to do first. I'm gonna do the one that I think you might be most likely to take.
Okay.
One of the best acting roles I think of the last decade. I'm gonna go with a Hereditary.
Strong pick.
I think Toni Collette absolutely killed. Should have very much been at least nominated for Best Actress. I love Hereditary.
Definitely.
That's also. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
That's also one of those, like, we talk about movie theater experiences, and like there's just a handful that you'll have that like really stick with you, and Hereditary is one of them. I saw opening night to not a packed house, but a pretty packed house, and there were so many moments of that movie that you could have heard a pin drop in there. It was like a Quiet Place level of quiet.
Hereditary is 2018, which is our second 2018 entry with The Haunting of Hill House, and you can also watch that on Max currently. Definitely not mad at that pick. This other one is another movie you probably, if you're a follower of me, if you're a listener, probably not going to be surprised about this one either. I'm going to Babadook. I think I always talk about the Babadook as the last movie I watched where I slept with the lights on afterward. I need to buy one of. They have like 3 special edition DVDs, and I can't figure out which one I want. I might end up just getting them all. But the Babadook is on. It's on a lot of places. It's on Hulu, AMC Plus, Plex, Pluto TV, Tubi. So Tubi's free, right? So you should be able to watch the Babadook for sure. I know you like the Babadook too, right?
Yeah, that was one of those. Oddly enough, it took a couple watchings because like that's one that people, horror fans specifically, just love. Everyone has. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about it, and I kept thinking like, what am I not seeing? And then I watched it a second and third time. I was like, okay, this is a very, very, very good movie. I like the Babadook a lot.
You mentioned your big 3. Jennifer Kent joins Jordan Peele is one of my big 3 personally. So nice. I'm a big fan of Jennifer Kent, and I did not include one of her other movies on my list, but depending on what you do here going forward, I might have to. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
My next pick is a movie from 2011, so it barely makes the cut, but it does. Nice. It's one of those. It's everything that I love. It's very meta. It combines almost like every horror movie trope that's ever been a thing, every archetype, a lot of even subgenres, and it's The Cabin in the Woods, which you can watch on Max.
Okay. You said it was 2011?
Yes. Oh, actually, it said 2011, but the release date now I'm seeing is 2012.
It definitely came up when I was searching, and I almost included it, but like it's a movie I got too late, and it didn't feel right for me to include it because it's not one that I like came to naturally. It's one that like everybody just told me this is a great movie, and so I watched it. So I didn't want to take that one at all. Yeah, it does say 2011. We'll put 2011/12. I don't. Well, actually, I can dig into it. Because it definitely says 2011. Maybe it premiered in 2011 and didn't go wide until 12. No,
yeah,
April 13th, 2012.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Which there's a lot of those in horror. I have at least one, if not 2 others that are in that same realm. An example I can give: Paranormal Activity technically was made in 2007, but it didn't get its official release until 2009. So sometimes you'll have those with horror where like it released, but then it got picked up by a bigger distributor and got released again. And
I'm going to give you The Cabin in the Woods premiered at Butt Numathon Film Festival.
Okay.
In December of 2011, but nobody else saw it in 2012.
Gotcha.
Like South by Southwest was the second screening, and that was March 2012.
Okay. Gotcha.
Very interesting. All right. That's our oldest movie so far, either way. We're going to number 8 now. Number 8 pick for me. I don't know if this is a movie that you probably seen. I don't know why I'm pretending you maybe haven't seen it, but my number 4 pick, the number 8 overall in the draft, it's going to be The Gift. Joel Egerton in his bag, wrote it, directed it, starred in it. I was actually talking. Me and Reese did an interview with Pee Wee the Plug from Through the Wire on the Mavs Outsiders recently, and he actually brought the movie up as his favorite movie. And I was like, for real? Like, I pulled up the DVD. I was like, yeah, this is the first. It's one of the first DVDs I bought because I just love that movie so much, and I realized like I want to make sure I have physical copies of all these movies going forward. And I actually am glad I did that because I don't think that it's streaming anywhere for free, if at all. Let me see if I can pull it up.
So for a long time, or at one time, it was on Netflix. I believe that's how I watched that movie. Or I may have seen that one in theaters and then again on Netflix, but I know for sure it was on Netflix at one point. I did not realize until this very moment that Joel Edgerton also directed and wrote it.
Yes, like when I realized that, I was like, yeah, we need more Joel Edgerton because he killed it with this movie.
Rebecca Hall was great. Jason Bateman was great. That movie rules.
The fact that this movie didn't do numbers, like, yeah, I don't know what happened with the marketing because this movie is amazing. And I feel like it's the type of movie that anybody would like.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's very much a thriller. So it's not like there's people that wouldn't want, like, oh, I don't do horror, I can't go see that. Like it's pretty accessible movie, I feel like.
Yeah, there's not a ton going on. It's very character driven. It's not long. It's an hour 48 minutes. You can watch it on AMC Plus or rent it for $4 on Prime Video currently. And I want to say, is that the second 2015 entry so far? Yes, along with The Witch. So far we've got 2014, 2015, and 2018 with 2 entries already.
Crap, now I got to pick again, huh?
Pick 9.
Ooh, it's funny because we've only used, we each have 8 more picks, and I already feel like I'm getting pretty close to the point of like, oh, I can't not pick this. I can't, like, it's getting real tough. I'm going to go with one that I feel like, I think we've discussed this movie a handful of times. I feel like I bring it up every chance I get, but it does something better than almost any movie I've ever seen in the sense of just the way it's filmed, the way it's shot. You have almost no idea when it takes place. It's very timeless, I feel like, and It Follows.
Okay.
From 2014.
2014, like just when I was doing research for this, I feel like 2014 was like the year, personally.
Yes, it is on Netflix and Hulu. You can watch it on Sling for free. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, but only a 66 audience percent score. And I have noticed that's one that anytime I mention, people who I don't ever see talk about movies will like randomly comment. They're like, I can't believe you like that. But every person I talk to that is super, I do talk about movies with a lot, seem to love it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recently realized that's a polarizing movie for a lot of people.
It also is one that one of my favorite things about horror specifically is this idea, especially if you're watching it with another person, of like, what would you do? That I think more than anything sets up this idea of like, how would I handle this situation? And everyone seems to like have a fun answer for it. Like, so I love that for that movie.
Okay, no, that's definitely. I would say that's certain movies having that shared experience can heighten the like if you watch it by yourself versus watching it with people. And I would say Get Out was probably like that for me. Like that's why I had to see it in theaters 3 times, because that being with a group of people, like listening to other people react to things with you, definitely heightened the experience for me personally.
That's fair.
Number 10, and this is going to be our first 2020s entry. Is that correct? Ooh.
I'm very scared about what you're about to do because, okay, just go for it.
Number 10, our first 2020s entry. I'm going with Pearl.
Ooh, I love Pearl.
Mia Goth went insanely dumb in this movie. Just the closing moments of the movie by themselves were amazing. The fact that they were able, they did not plan to make this movie. They made X. And Mia Goth was like, hey, I want to write some more stuff, but I want to give some backstory to this character. Did it. The way it's shot, awesome. Like they put you in that 40s style TV show vibe, but then like she's doing crazy stuff. And I don't know. I just really thought it was a cinematic masterpiece personally. And the acting just takes it over the top for me. So I got to go with Pearl. And you can watch that on Showtime currently.
I love Pearl. Also, I think I mentioned The House of the Devil earlier from Ty West. Ty West is my favorite director. I will watch anything that man does. And the X, Pearl, and then now what's going to be Maxine, like trilogy. I love all of them. I actually did not write Pearl down because I knew that you would pick it, and I was like, he can have Pearl. I'm not even gonna I'm gonna like put my attention elsewhere. But I knew you'd pick Pearl.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did with the Cabin in the Woods. So glad we had each other in mind.
Okay, so now I got to pick again. This is tough. I'm starting to get to a point now where there's not a ton. You know what I'll do? Since you went 2020, I'll stick in that same vein. This is one of my favorite movies of the last few years for sure. And it's one that not a ton of people have seen because I believe it was a Shudder original, but the people that I've shown it to always love it. I'm going with Host. It's a format, if you don't or aren't familiar with it, it's during the pandemic. They filmed it during the pandemic, pretty early in the pandemic too.
Yeah.
And it's all through Zoom essentially. And a bunch of friends have a seance together through Zoom. And what's really cool about that is, if you don't have like premium or whatever, you only get 60 minutes on a Zoom call. And there is a counting clock the entire movie. So you're like you're constantly, which I think adds to the anxiety a little bit. You're like, oh crap, we're getting close to the, so I love Host.
All right. What year is that? Did it came out?
Sorry. Yes, 2020.
You said
yeah, it's still on Shudder or AMC.
Okay. All right. Actually surprised to be able to get this pick at this point. But this is gonna be my first series. And I'm going with Black Mirror. I wanted to break it down to where I could just pick an individual episode because there are a lot of episodes I don't really mess with like that. But I'm gonna go with Black Mirror as a whole. There's enough strong episodes in the series for me to feel like I can go ahead and take the series. The series premiered in 2011, which is why it qualifies. It's crazy that it's been out that long, but so many great performances. So many like I think about Daniel Kaluuya in the early seasons. I want to say that was the first time I ever saw him. Now he's one of the biggest actors out there right now. Just a lot of good quality stuff. And again, we talk about the creativity of doing something a little bit differently than anybody else is doing. And Black Mirror definitely kind of changed the game a little bit.
Black Mirror is the only show that we've not only reviewed on here, but have done multiple episodes on. We've done multiple Black Mirror episodes. We both love and adore Black Mirror. It's as good of a show as we've had in the last 10, 15 years, I feel like.
And one of the ones that keeps people talking. So definitely worth a mention here. Yeah. I'm very curious where you're going to go next.
Only because I'm starting to, again, play this a bit strategic. I have a third show that I just know you're never going to touch, I don't think. So I'm going to say that for my final pick. But just in case, actually, I've already done Hill House, so it feels wrong to take Bly Manor.
Nope, don't feel wrong about it. Did you guys?
Okay, then we're gonna take The Haunting of Bly Manor. I don't think it's quite on the same level of Hill House, but it is, in my opinion, every bit of as effective. There's some gut wrenching stuff in Bly Manor, and I haven't watched it as many times as I have Hill House, but it's definitely something I've rewatched multiple times. I thought it was great, so I'll take The Haunting of Bly Manor here.
And that's the one that's based on The Turning of the Screw or The Turning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's 2020 Netflix.
Yeah, and right after they end up making the Turning movie, and it was awful. And it's how were these based on the same source material? That's wild.
Definitely not recommending that movie. That movie is not on the list. I'm pretty safe in saying that. This one is going to be a personal pick for me. This one's going to be a personal pick, and this is rounding out the lottery. If we're looking at this as the NBA draft, it's pick number 14. I'm glad we extended this because I wanted to get some of these deep cuts in here without just some of the obvious stuff. So this movie, I don't know if I know anybody that has seen this movie. I don't even remember why I watched it, to be honest. I think I might have maybe asked some of my followers for some suggestions, and somebody said this movie, and so I watched it. But it is the movie that kind of put me on to horror comedies, really. And when I say horror comedies, I mean movies that are set up like horror movies, but then they just end up having a comedic element to them. It's Housebound. It's an Australian movie. And again, when I went into it, I wasn't sure what to expect at all. It's a really fun movie. Basically, I'm going to get a synopsis. A young woman is forced to return to her childhood home after being placed under house arrest, where she suspects that something evil may be lurking. So basically, she's put under house arrest. She doesn't want to be in the house, and then weird stuff starts happening, and she tries to figure out what the heck is going on. Hilarious movie, and it does like even the horror elements kind of work for me.
A 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is one that I watch a ton of, like Watch Mojo and What Culture, and then just listen to a lot of horror podcasts. I've seen it recommended so many times, and I've just never gotten around to it.
And apparently, it is on Tubi and something called Fandor. So depending on what you watch, it's a Prime Video channel, Fandor apparently, and Tubi is free. So that's why I'm always going to mention it if there's nothing else that I'm familiar with. Yeah, but Housebound. I can't recommend that one enough if you like horror comedies.
Okay. Got a couple things. Let's go ahead and... Oh, this is tough. I'm going to go with a slow burn. I love slow burn horrors when they're done very well. This was a movie that I don't know if it still is, but was on Netflix for a long time. I'll double check and see if it still is. But The Invitation from 2015. Okay. Apparently on Pluto, Tubi, Peacock. Yeah, I love this movie. Again, it very much is a slow burn. I've had a number of people that loved it to death, and I've had people that are like, that was entirely too slow. I can't get behind it. But just it's great for, I think, like just a night at the house, either by yourself or with a person. But it's like a very interesting watch, and I love that movie to death.
If I remember it correctly, it has like one of my favorite like ending shots in a horror movie.
Yes, it rules.
Yeah, that's definitely like you said, it is a slow burn, but I think when you get that payoff like that at the end, it's like, oh, like this is great. Like I love this. I can work with that.
Oh, this is saying 2016 release date. When I first Googled it, it said 2015, but now I'm looking at an actual release date. It says 2016. Horror movies need to get it together. When did y'all come out? Just pick a date and let's ride with it.
Housebound is 2014, by the way. That's, I think, like I said, that was a year as far as I'm concerned. All right. Based on how we're doing this draft, I guess this is gonna be my last movie. And now that it's my last movie, I'm like debating. No, I'm gonna stick with it. My last movie is another 2020 entry. It's a movie that had unfortunate timing, and I believe the unfortunate timing did not get it the love I think that it deserved. And it is The Invisible Man 2020, Elizabeth Moss. I believe we're supposed to be starting a horror universe with this movie, but I haven't heard much about it recently. But just a modern telling of the Invisible Man story. It almost feels like an action movie or like a superhero type movie without the pretending, like without the superhero stuff. I mean, there's superhero stuff, sort of, if you really think about it, but it's not billed as like a superhero movie. I really enjoyed that movie, and I watched it like 3 to 4 times already.
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss just absolutely killed it during that movie. And then we also get Oliver Jackson Cohen, who ends up being in Hill House and Bly Manor. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. And it was one of those, like you're saying, it was kind of unfortunate timing, but there were people that just loved that movie.
Yeah, I think it came out like literally right before the shutdown. So like you could catch it in theaters for like a week, and then it immediately it was one of the first movies that was put on streaming where you could rent it for $20.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I remember seeing that to a pretty packed theater. So that would have probably been the last like big theatrical release I got to see before like we shut down.
Yep, definitely was. And you can watch it on Peacock currently. All right, so I'm out of movies, so that tells you where we're at. And you've already picked 2 shows, I believe.
Yes.
One left in your last 2 picks.
You should have. I think you have one more movie, right?
Oh wait, we're doing 12 each, right?
12 each, so you'll get one more movie.
All right, I'm lying.
Dude, I kind of want to. I kind of want to be mean and steal another show from you and put you in a really bad spot.
No, do your thing. I have backup. You're safe.
Actually, I'm only not going to do that because I have like 3 on my list, and once you start there's at least 1 or 2 that I don't think we'll be on the same page of. So I'm going to keep knocking out some movies real quick. This is a movie that I could have saved until the very end, obviously. But even if we had an infinite amount of picks, I'm not sure you would have ever gotten to this. But again, I love Ty West and his universe. And for anyone that doesn't know him and like Adam Wingard, even like Lena Dunham and Greta Gerwig, like they all kind of came up together, I think at NYU or one of those schools, and they all are in each other's movies. And this is one of those. It's from technically it came out in 2011, and then it actually got a theatrical release in 2013, which I did see in theaters. It was a movie I'd never heard of, didn't know anything about, just knew it was a horror movie that was coming out, and it's called You're Next. You can watch it on Hulu or Amazon Prime or Max, and it's one of, I think, not only the best kind of home invasion survival horror movies, but it has maybe the best final girl of our generation. Your Next rules, and it's like the rare Thanksgiving horror movie, so that's fun.
I mean, with the timing, that's Thanksgiving is a month away, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I realized that we're doing 12 each, because there's a movie that I don't think you may not be familiar with this movie, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to do another show right now, and I'm going to go Lovecraft Country. Show probably shouldn't have been canceled. A lot of people were upset that it was canceled, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not really a sci-fi person, so I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but the horror elements in the show they worked for me. It was a really, really fun show, and it is still the first season. It kind of is it's not a show that ended where you like need an ending. You can kind of get a full story out of that first season. So got to go with Lovecraft Country on there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that got canceled. I thought that was getting very good reception and everything. Yeah, I couldn't believe it was canceled.
It's on Max and Tubi, apparently. Surprised it's on Tubi.
Everything's on Tubi, huh? Shout out to Tubi.
How's Tubi getting all this stuff for free? Like,
I don't know. That's wild. Good for them. Next up. Again, I don't think this is one you would have taken by any means, but it's an all-time favorite for me. Again, kind of staying in that survival horror mode. Green Room from either 2013 or 2015. And this, I knew this would be the case, but like we just had a run from like 2013 through 2016-ish where we were getting a ton of good horror. It's got Patrick Stewart in it, Anton Yelchin. Is that how you say his name?
Yep.
R.I.P. But yeah, great survival. For anyone that doesn't know, it's about a punk rock band who's they're very well liked, but they just never made a ton of money. They need some cash to finish the last leg of their tour, so they go do a show for some people they probably shouldn't have done a show for, see some stuff they shouldn't have seen, and now they are trapped in the green room, and they have to find a way to make it out alive.
I remember that, if I'm not mistaken, that movie was marketed with like just audience reactions to it.
I don't remember that, but I could see it.
Yeah, I remember like them having like just the audience reactions, like this is one of the scariest movies you're gonna see, and it was just like people like covering their eyes or like covering their mouth or like screaming and stuff, and like they didn't really I don't remember them actually putting any of the movie in the trailer. If I'm not
I will say it's a very fun movie. I probably use that term too often, but it's very fun. Every time I've watched it, it's been with people, and like everyone's super locked in and engaged. You're kind of talking the whole time about like, oh, what would I do here? And it's real good for that.
Okay. So that's Green Room 2015. That's on Max. We'll go ahead and knock out my last show, I think. Maybe my last show. Ooh, dang. Do I want to do that? I could go multiple ways here. Dang, this is tough. I might cheat my list. Here. We'll have some honorable mentions, I guess.
A lot of honorable mention. Yeah, I have a ton over here.
All right, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna stick with the list that I put together. I'm gonna go What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
I love that show, dude.
Definitely a fun show. It's not really scary at all, but I enjoy it. It's the family of vampires, and they're familiar. I've enjoyed the show thoroughly.
Which it was a movie. This is the show based on the movie, I guess, right?
Yeah, and it's Taika Waititi, which he's apparently not as sexy these days as he once was, but I enjoy the series. Started in 2019, by the way, and it is on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Hulu.
So there's a couple movies, I'll even leave it at like, because I have to pick one. I have 2 picks left, and I have to use one of them on a show. There are a handful of movies on here that I think there's going to be a ton of people that are like, y'all, it's blasphemous that you wouldn't pick any of these. But I'm not going to give in. I'm going to do what I want to do. This is my list. This is my draft. And this is one of those movies that it's very funny how the movie came about. Anyone that I know that's seen it loved it. Okay. It was just put on to Netflix one day. And it has a very small cast. It's just Mark Duplass, Patrick Bryce. That is it. Those are the only 2 people. They also wrote and directed it without a script. And they originally set out to make a comedy without a script again. And very quickly into it realized, whoa, this would play way better as a horror movie. And it is 2014's Creep. They've also done Creep 2, which was very good as well. And we're still waiting on the 3rd one, I guess.
I already put it on here before you even said what the name of the movie was, because I knew exactly where you were going. I'm a big fan of Mark Duplass.
I am too. I only knew him originally through The League, which, but yeah.
I think that was the first thing that got my attention when I saw the movie. Yeah, Creep 3 has not come out. I was just double checking. In development is what it says. But yeah, that's the only reason I watched it. I was like, Mark Duplass horror movie? What? Genuine. It actually was on my list. So you did take that one. It was not going to be one of the, it was going to be in my honorable mentions because it was just outside. You didn't take enough of my other stuff. But good stuff. I like that pick. 22. Have I picked 3 shows or 2 shows? I think I did 3. Nightmare, Lovecraft, and What We Do in the Shadows. So I'm good on shows technically, but I still may pick a 4th. I think we said at least 3.
Yeah, you still could use a show if you wanted to.
All right, but for now, I'm gonna go with a movie, and this is the one I was talking about. I'm not sure you even have heard of this movie or would have seen it. I don't even remember why I saw it. Actually, I do. I want to say this might have been in the Redbox era when I saw this. And I was just trying to find a good horror movie to watch or a good thriller to watch. And it is also holiday themed.
If you say what I think you're going to say, I'm going to what holiday?
The name of the holiday is the name of the movie.
Okay.
Why can't I get it to come up? There we go. It is 2010's Mother's Day.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It is a home invasion thriller. The sadistic members of a villainous family return to their childhood home to terrorize the new homeowners and their guests. It's I would say it's more thriller than horror, but there's a lot of rough stuff that makes it a horror movie, and you're not sure how this is going to end, basically. But Mother's Day, epic movie in my opinion. Rebecca De Mornay, Jamie King is in it. Sean Ashmore is in it. Who else is in it? Like I said, Deborah Ann Woll is in it. Frank Grillo's in it. And these were before I knew who most of these people were. But just a very interesting movie. Like AJ Cook is in it from Criminal Minds. It's a very interesting movie. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I definitely would watch it. Like I almost want to put it on my list to like go back and watch it soon.
And I have to make my final pick. And I've only used 2 shows, so it does have to be a show. I'm between 2, and it's really tough. I kind of want to go. Oh,
this is on Tubi too, by the way. Mother's Day.
Everything's on Tubi. I think just for the more nerdy people that might be listening to this, I'm going to do this for y'all. This was a show that came out in 2019, and it was very much marketed. I don't know if it was marketed or just one of those like word of mouth type of things. I can't remember, but it's like one of the scariest things you're going to watch. And it is one of the scariest things I've ever watched. It is a foreign show. It's called Marianne. It was on Netflix. I think it was on Netflix original, maybe. It's 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is both very good, and it's genuinely like within the first episode. If you are one of those people that's like, oh, let's check out some of the stuff. If you don't do scary stuff very well, it gets right to it. It's maybe I'm misremembering how scary it was, but I remember it being terrifying. And we're gonna go Marianne.
Okay, it came up on my list, like in my searches a lot. I was like, I've never heard of this show. Like, what is this? But yeah, between you adding it to your list, I don't know how I missed it. Honestly, I don't know how I missed it, but I definitely might need to add it to my future watch list.
It's a good one.
Man, I could go anyway. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left on my list here. I know one of them I just included because I thought I was supposed to, so I'm not going to go with that one. One of them is a nostalgia pick that probably doesn't even qualify, so I'm going to skip that one. So then that leaves me with 2 shows and a movie.
I want to tell you how many I still have left on my potential list. 18.
I tried to limit. You have 18 left?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I wonder, hold on. Let's go to 30.
Okay, so we'd have 6 more? Or how many more? Yeah, 3. We each have 3 more, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Let's see. 24, 26, 28. I'd have 4 more. You have 3 more.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So then I'm just going to go down my list then at that point. So my next pick is Bates Motel. This is one of a show that I actually watched pretty religiously with my mom. And what's his name? The kid that played Norman Bates killed it. Is it Vera Farmiga?
Yeah, Vera Farmiga was in that one. Love her to death. Freddie Highmore is the name.
Freddie Highmore, there you go. Show came out in 2013. Really good show. What's the girl's name that plays the girlfriend?
Olivia Cook.
I'm an Olivia Cook fan. So Olivia Cook's in it. Those are my big 3. And then eventually my guy, I'm struggling with names. My guy from Sons of Anarchy played Opie. He shows up later in the show as well. From Remember the Titans. What is his name? Ryan Hurst. There we go. Ryan Hurst shows up in later seasons. He has a very interesting character. It's a really fun show based on, the classic movie. Bates Motel's going into my
Rihanna list. Was in Bates Motel?
Yes.
Where was I when Rihanna came around?
She had like a very interesting. She played
Marion Crane, which if you've seen the movie Psycho, Marion Crane is like that's wild.
It was a big deal when it happened because of not only because Rihanna was in it, but because of who she was playing.
Yeah, I love. I only probably watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons, but I loved Bates Motel. I had it on my list, and I think that was also one I watched with my mother. Unless I'm misremembering, but I loved that when it first came out.
Very interesting that we both watched this particular property with our mothers.
That's very. And of all the things, that's.
I was gonna say my sister made the joke. She kept calling us Norman and Norma.
Yeah, Norma, that's rough. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, just for funsies, because I thought it scared me to death when it looked like you were going to take it. Okay. We're going holiday themed. This is a movie I watch. I've made it part of my tradition. I watch it every year on the night of Christmas Eve. It's called Better Watch Out. I don't know if you've ever seen Better Watch Out, but it rules. It's a Christmas movie. It was originally titled Safe Neighborhood, and then they changed it to Better Watch Out. But it has. I don't know if you ever saw. The Visit. Did you ever see the movie The Visit?
I think so.
The 2 kids that are in it that play the main 2 kids also star. Yeah, they also star in Better Watch Out. It's a fun. The way I always describe it is it's if Home Alone were actually a horror movie. Okay, it's fun as hell. I watch it every year on Christmas Eve, and just because I got very scared when you said holiday, I was like, well, now I have to pick it. Like if I like it that much, I have to have it on my own list. So Better Watch Out.
All right. I like it. I think you've mentioned it before because I remember that description you just gave about Home Alone.
You'll never guess what it's on.
Is it on Tubi?
You can watch it on Tubi.
There you go. Also on Peacock.
From 2017. Yeah. Or well, it's another one of those. It says 2016 here and 2017 in another place. Whatever.
2017 is probably when it really came out.
Yeah, 2017.
2016 is when it probably premiered or at a festival or something. All right. Since I just get to go down my list. Wait, hold on. Do I? Actually, I'm not going to get my last one. That's fine. 26 pick in the horror movie property draft. It's going to be Ex Machina. Actually, I was surprised when I was doing my search that it came up as a possibility, but then I remembered the movie and I was like, I guess it is a thriller.
That's fair.
And I remember when it ended, I wanted to make a sequel based on how it ends. And I've put a lot of thought into it. And I still, maybe something I end up writing like a short or a treatment for at some point in time. But Ex Machina 2014, we talked about 2014 being the year. A lot of good stuff came out. That one can be watched on Max currently.
Oh, this is I can't believe it's still tough at this point. Like there's still things I'm going to leave out. Whatever I don't get to use at some point, I'll just mention them as honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Just give them a shout out. Let's go with because it would be literally criminal to not have this on the list. I gotta go. Jordan Peele's Us.
Okay. And that's 29, 17, 18?
2019.
2019. All right.
And it's on Netflix. Was it just recently
I
added to
think they
Netflix?
just put his stuff on Netflix, like all of them. I think Get Out just got put back on Netflix.
Yeah. And also Peacock and Hulu, apparently.
Okay. Netflix, Peacock, and Hulu. That's crazy.
Oh shit, dude. If you Google Us, go Google Us real quick. That's fun.
Is it Google it? Okay. Just Us?
Yes, literally our Us movie. You'll see what I'm talking about probably. It's like as soon as yeah, that's dope. I don't even know how to describe to our listeners what is happening, but you do it. Y'all go Google Us.
If you've seen the movie, everybody has like a double. It kind of they give you like the little doubles across the top of the screen with and they're like sliding. All right, I've seen enough. This creeped me out. That is interesting. I'm surprised they're still doing that, considering how long ago the movie came out.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought you were going to take this one earlier, and I'm glad you didn't. I guess we're crowning him the horror series king. I'm going with Midnight Mass. Another entry in the Bly Manor Hill House series, and now the most recent entry being what's it called? The new Fall of the House of Usher.
Yes.
And they got Midnight Club out there. Like it's interesting to see Flanagan put out hit after hit.
Yeah, I think I may have. I'd kind of alluded to it, but when I said it was down to 2, and I was going to do the more nerdy one, it was between Midnight Mass and Marianne. Midnight Mass rules. I unfortunately haven't revisited it. I just saw it the one time, but it was very, very, very good. I might rewatch that pretty soon. That was a fun watch. It feels very different than like Hill House and Bly Manor, but he just has a great way of like just building tension and kind of keeping you on the edge of your seat. And that one rules.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch it until this year. I think like the early part of this year. I had put it up for a while, but glad I did. This is your last pick, right?
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Then for funsies, I think this is I think this movie is genuinely the reason why you and I became as good of friends as we've become. It's also in the kind of horror comedy realm. It came out in 2017, and I still can't believe we haven't gotten a sequel, but Tragedy Girls, which you can watch on Tubi, of course, Amazon Prime, and Sling TV. I'd watch it on Hulu, but I guess it's not on there anymore. But Tragedy Girls rules. I love that movie. I've seen it no less than like probably 10 times. Oh, hell yes.
I got a signed one too, actually, but from the people, but yeah, Tragedy Girls. I was between that and Housebound. I didn't want to put both of them on here, so glad you got to get Tragedy Girls in there because it's definitely one of my favorite horror comedies as well.
Shout out to Tragedy Girls.
All right, I'm down. I have 2 things left on my list. I said there was one I included just because I felt like I was supposed to, and then the other one is a nostalgia pick, and I think I'm gonna go with my nostalgia pick for my last pick.
Okay,
it is 2012's Chronicle.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Chronicle, dude.
Yeah, so Chronicle actually was the first DVD I bought. I think I mentioned The Gift is one of the first ones, but Chronicle was actually the first one I bought. And you could tell by the the basicness of the movie. Let's see if I have it here beside me. If I can't find it quickly, I'm just going to... Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's a very basic Best Buy DVD, like nothing special, no special features, but yeah, Chronicle actually inspired me to like create something. It was like one of the first movies where there's like superhero type abilities, but like it again isn't billed as like a superhero movie really. It's just a thriller. It's just some kids happening upon something, some weird stuff happening, and then bad things happening along the way. Definitely mess with Chronicle. The characters were great. Michael B. Jordan. I want to say one of the first movie roles I remember him being in back in 2012. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed that movie. Dane DeHaan is in there as well. I think he's a big deal these days, right? Or he
It's
got
also
a big deal for a little while.
say that again.
I say he got to be a big deal for a little while at least.
That's one of those. I saw that. I was like a junior in high school when that came out, and it just felt like going to see that in theaters just very much felt like, yes, I'm who this was made for. This came out at the perfect time for me. I adore that movie.
No, definitely. And it was like I was in college. I just finished college, so it like felt like again, like I felt like I appreciated Michael B. Jordan's character, and like I could see me and my group of friends as these guys, and like how would you react if you got some abilities like this type of thing?
Um, just to rattle off a couple honorable mentions, there's 4 on here that I think will probably be called blasphemous for not including.
Chronicles on Hulu, by the way.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Nice. Ready or Not, I think we'll probably get shit for not having. The Conjuring, we very much will get shit for not having.
That was my one that I included just because I thought it was supposed to.
Yeah. The other 2 I would say were Midsommar very well, maybe, and Sinister. I think those 4 are going to would be on most people's list probably. But also, if this would have been a little different, I would have went Tucker and Dale versus Evil as my horror comedy. I think that's maybe as good of a horror comedy as there is.
Is that within the time frame?
Yeah, I think that's probably 2013, 2012.
Okay. Because I remember after I watched, it's 2010 actually.
Oh, wow. So it would have just made the cut. Okay.
But yeah, after I watched Housebound, I was like looking for horror comedies that was recommended next, and then I enjoyed it too. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm a horror comedy guy.
I very much thought you were going to have Black Phone. And then Evil Dead's 2013 Evil Dead, I think, was probably worth mentioning. The Lighthouse as well, and then Suspiria. Those are all my honorable mentions. And then Castle Rock for a TV show. If you don't know what Castle Rock is, it is kind of an anthology. Not kind of, it is an anthology, but it's based within the Stephen King universe, and it just includes a number of different stories that are rooted in Stephen King lore. It got canceled after the second season, but the second season was based on Annie Wilkes, the main character that what is her name? From Misery. Kathy Bates. Yes, Kathy Bates. And the one who played it in Castle Rock, can't think of her name off the top of my head. She was in Mean Girls. What is her real name? I'm Google. Oh, Lizzie Kaplan. She played that role so well, apparently, that Kathy Bates came out and she's like, nah, she's Annie Wilkes. Like, that is her role. But yeah, Castle Rock rules. So if anyone's like real nerdy about Stephen King, that's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say Barbarian might have got on my list before Black Phone. Honestly, I had it rated a little bit higher. Yeah, I tried to avoid some of the more recent ones, but I also wanted to make sure we included some so we weren't. I think we did a pretty good job with the like spacing these out as far as the time frames. Like we got stuff going all the way back to 2011 or so at least, all the way to 2022. So I'm pretty happy about this list. I'll probably put it out somewhere at some point after the episode comes out.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, and it's also one of those like if we could have done it again a month from now, and like I would have maybe a wildly different list. I don't know, but I'm glad we did it, and I would like to find more different categories and things to do more drafts with.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out somewhere along the way because this was fun. I definitely want to do more. Maybe we can get more niche if we do some horror stuff again. But I would do it like action movies, franchises, stuff like that. Like we can get creative. We can get creative, and maybe people will suggest some stuff too. So if you have some ideas for some drafts that you want to see done, definitely send some stuff over. Any other thoughts?
Nah, man, I had fun doing this. This was a blast. That's all I got. Go watch horror movies. It's spooky season.
It's spooky season. Hopefully we gave you a lot of things to chew on. I was trying to make a plan, but it's not working. Hopefully gave you a lot of things to choose from. If you're looking for something to watch, whether it's a series or a movie, plenty of options. Do a binge, like watch the whole top 10 if you haven't seen them. Anything on this list, the higher on the list, the better. And let us know what you thought.
Oh, I had one last thing I did want to say.
Okay.
I love the idea. It never occurs to me, but I've since learned, you maybe already knew this, but there are people out there with horror specifically that don't love horror movies, that can't do scary movies, but will listen to our review of the movie either way. And y'all have no idea how much like I enjoy that. It makes me really happy. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to anybody who's listening, despite not potentially going to watch the whatever movie we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me feel good as well. But with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Until next time, peace.